With Apple's reveal of multiple new Silicon Macs today, we're here to tell you everything you need to know about them. What is Apple Silicon? Apple's Silicon is an umbrella term they use to describe their range of new internally developed hardware. The first of the ARM-based Macs was announced, and they use the Apple M1 processor. M1 is just a specific CPU, and ARM is the underlying architecture of the CPU. Currently, we have the new M1 Macs for the 13-inch MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, and Mac Mini, but expect other names in the future as new Macs are released and different chips are used. Performance expectations. So what kind of gaming performance can you expect on the new M1 Macs? We haven't gotten our hands on the hardware yet to test ourselves, but Apple has made bold claims about CPU and GPU performance. For example, under an M1 MacBook Air, a game like Shadow of the Tomb Raider will run 3 times as fast as a previous generation MacBook Air. Also demonstrated was Baldur's Gate 3 running at ultra settings and 1080p resolution. In the demo, a number of advanced rendering techniques were displayed, such as PVR, cascaded shadow maps, temporal anti-aliasing, and several post-processing effects such as SSAO and depth of field. The gameplay demonstrated appeared smooth and sharp. Previously, performance like this was only possible on Macs with dedicated GPUs. When we compare Baldur's Gate 3 on a 2019 13-inch MacBook Pro, it was almost unplayable at 720p in lowest settings. We got around 15 to 20 FPS. So the performance is incredibly better on an M1. If optimized, other games should run at similar settings. Soon we will be testing these games and others to see performance results to show our viewers. Additionally, the new laptops have significantly increased battery life, so if you're gaming on the go, you won't run out of juice as fast. Nice. Status of eGPUs. External GPUs are also losing support under Silicon Macs. There isn't a specific reason, however eGPUs have been removed from the tech specs pages of Silicon Macs, and outlet Apple Insider claims to have confirmed that eGPU support is cancelled. It is unknown if future versions of Silicon will restore support or remain an exiled feature. Fate of Bootcamp. Bootcamp will no longer be possible to use or install in the new Silicon machines. This is because the dual booting option relied on Intel processors and an x86 architecture. With the switch to ARM-based Macs, this is no longer a feature. At this time, Apple has not provided any alternative, so it remains to be seen if any support will be developed. Virtualization Support. With Bootcamp and eGPUs out of the picture, what about Windows through virtualization software such as Parallels? If you rely on virtualization apps for work or gaming, you should not upgrade to a Silicon Mac at this time as there is currently no support. From the Parallels blog, we read, "It is important to note that currently available versions of Parallels Desktop for Mac cannot run virtual machines on Macs with an Apple M1 chip." However, support for Parallels has been promised by the devs but is still in active development and not yet available to use. It is also unclear if you will be able to spin up a copy of Windows in the upcoming version of Parallels. Microsoft has announced a version of Windows 10 that works on ARM, however, there is still no confirmation whether this will work on Apple Silicon machines at this time. Rosetta 2. Rosetta 2 is an emulation software that will allow any 64-bit app that isn't updated to still run on the new Apple Silicon Macs. It works for Metal and also OpenGL API apps. OpenGL is deprecated, but is available on Apple Silicon. Apple has been down this road before with Rosetta during the switch from PowerPC to Intel, but this version is even better. Back at WWDC, Apple did show off Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Dirt Rally running through Rosetta 2, and they claim it works perfectly. Both these apps are 64-bit and use the Metal 2 API. In fact, Apple has claimed that some apps run even better through Rosetta 2 on a Silicon Mac than natively on Intel. We will be testing this out for ourselves in future videos. For now, we can see demonstrated high-end Mac games running smoothly under Rosetta 2. As with any emulation layer, you won't necessarily get max performance, but it does work, meaning your current library of games should be safe to play on the new Macs running through Rosetta 2. Moving forward, a new universal binary will be the default, which will contain both Intel and Silicon versions of an app so it can run anywhere. iOS apps. In addition to new Silicon Macs, Apple has released the next version of macOS named Big Sur. Besides system and UI improvements, it also adds the ability for Silicon Macs to run iOS apps directly on your computer. You can expect popular iOS games such as Among Us to be available alongside other games and apps. Apple previously showed these being controlled with a mouse or a keyboard or a trackpad, and also the ability to resize the game on your screen. As far as we know, it looks as if this feature is for the new M1 Macs only and will not work on an Intel Mac upgraded to Big Sur. Devs have to opt into this feature, so don't expect every app or game from iOS to make its way onto your computer screen. Which Silicon Mac to choose for gaming? So there's 3 new Silicon Macs to choose from. Is one of them better for gaming than the other? Other than the baseline MacBook Air, all these Macs have 100% identical hardware specs. The main difference is that the MacBook Pro has a touch bar and a fan, while the MacBook Airs are now fanless. Of course, the Mac Mini requires an external display to function. If you can afford it, we suggest getting the 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro for gaming. The extra GPU core and fan should run games better and for longer. However, for the more budget-conscious, or if you just don't care about a touch bar, pick up the upgraded MacBook Air with the extra GPU core and SSD space. It's also possible the fanless design of the Air leads to performance throttling over extended gaming periods. Whichever model you go for, we recommend upgrading the RAM from 8GB to 16GB. Not only is this not user accessible for the future, but it will provide you with the best current and future-gen gaming performance. Future Silicon chips. Apple revealed some really cool new Macs. If all the hype is to be believed, they will offer extraordinary performance from low-end machines. This makes us wonder just how powerful a Silicon iMac, larger MacBook Pro, or even a Mac Pro could be. We don't know if they will contain a dedicated GPU. Still, there will surely be even more powerful GPUs, CPUs, and RAM available with all the extra space. After all, those machines are aimed at the more high-end market of professionals, developers, and whoever needs a machine with more punch. Whatever they turn out to be, it's looking like excellent news for Mac gaming in the future. What is your favorite thing about the new Silicon Macs? Are you going to buy an M1 Mac for gaming? If so, what model are you considering? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date with Mac gaming. My name's John, and thanks for watching.